I read a scene that terrified me, absolutely terrified me, and it's to do with ladybugs. Hello my loves, and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten and we're at the start of another weekly reading vlog, and I almost forgot to do an intro for this. Like, I already started off my day doing bits. You're gonna see some b-roll of me journaling, and I was like, yeah, we'll put that all in, and just forgot to actually start it, so let's do that. I hope you're all doing really well, but let's get on with what I'm going to be reading this week, starting off with Yellowface by Rebecca F. Kwan. Hesitantly excited about reading this book. Thankfully, I'm doing a buddy read, so we have a group buddy read going on my Discord channel over the course of June. We're reading 6 chapters a week, and I'm so grateful that I have them there, that we can all buddy read this together. It was definitely one that we were all wanting to read, wanting to get, and a couple of us were like, oh, we've got it, and now it's gonna sit on our shelves for ages. And so it was like, you know what, let's do a buddy read, let's do this. So we've worked out that 6 chapters a week will get this finished by the end of June. I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be a really impactful read, but I'm also a bit hesitant because I have read Poppy War and I liked the first book, but not enough to continue with the series. I just couldn't quite get on with the characters and some of the decisions that were being made. I then read Babel, which I enjoyed. I actually listened to this as an audiobook and I think it was much better than the Poppy War, but there was still something about the main character Robin which really frustrated me, and I wish we had that book from a multiple perspective, and then that book would have been, oh my god, fantastic. So I loved all the themes, everything about it. It was just her character, so I'm waiting till it comes in paperback and then I'm going to reread it. So when Yellowface was coming out, I was like, I have to read it because everyone's reading this book, and I do really want to give her another try because I think all of her concepts are so interesting. It's just, there's always been something that's held me back from it being a new favourite book, and this is why I'm hoping that this one is gonna do it for me. I don't even know what this is about, so let's read the synopsis together. I'm gonna try again, but I've attempted to say this 3 times now and I'm still tripping up, so one last time. Athena Liu is a literary darling and June Hayward is literally nobody. We did it. Okay. When Athena dies in a freak accident, June steals her unpublished manuscript and publishes it as her own under an ambiguous name, Juniper Song. But as evidence threatens June's stolen success, she discovers exactly how far she will go to keep what she thinks she deserves. What happens next is entirely everyone else's fault. And it says it's white lies, dark humour, deadly consequences. Sounds absolutely amazing, and I'm really grateful that I got the Waterstones edition because it's absolutely stunning with the lettering done on the side. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful book. It is stunning. So I'm really pleased that I got it, and I'm even more grateful, as I've already said, for my Discord and for all of us that we're going to be buddy reading it. So I need to start this. I should have started that this morning, but I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like forgot that that's what I needed to start this week, which is kind of silly because it's my book club. I'm the one that initiated it, and I completely forgot that I was on Monday. Like, because I work every weekend pretty much, I really do forget what day of the week that I'm on. So thankfully someone popped in with a picture of it reminding me it's Monday today, we need to start that. So yeah, I think I'm going to start that tomorrow morning. I'm very excited. I'm hoping that I really get on with it. I know it's meant to be a good read, so that's that. But I am also reading the Lovecraft Compendium. This is by H.P. Lovecraft. I started this last week. It's a short story collection. I read the first 3 last week and I really enjoyed them. I loved the eeriness. It's horror, but it's also done in a way where it's not like on-page horror. It's all in what you don't see. It's all in the atmosphere. It's eerie. You're learning about these tales and how things can get so twisted so quickly, how cults can work. It's really good. I'm really enjoying it. So I have the last 2. I would love to get this finished this week as well. I actually started it while I was eating lunch on the 4th short story, which is The Whisper in Darkness, and it actually starts off with him saying, I didn't see the thing. And you're gonna think that I made this all up and that I've just gone crazy from everything else that I've been learning, but this is what I've learned. You should believe me. And I love that. I love that because that's what all of these 3 books have been about is all these people write in their final letters of things that have happened that they're like, you're going to think I'm insane, but this is what has happened. And it's all to do with these beings that are not from our world, that have come to our world, and chaos ensues. It's really good, really enjoy it. I love the writing style. I honestly didn't think I'd get on with Lovecraft's writing style. I don't know why, but I just kind of had that in my mind. I'm so glad I'm wrong because this has been fascinating. Really enjoying this, so I would love to get this finished this week as well. However, I then also started a book yesterday at work, and it's a reread. I started it as an ebook because I didn't know what I wanted to read on ebook. I knew I wanted to read something while I'm at work, and I always tend to pick up an ebook from at work, saves me having to carry books around. I didn't know what I wanted, and then I saw Bunny was available on Kindle Unlimited, and did I need to reread this? No. Is it even on my June TBR to reread? No. But it was just there, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, that's what I want to read. I didn't get far into it at all. I only read the first 2 chapters, so I'm on page 20, chapter 3 is where I'm up to, and I've decided to annotate the heck out of this book because I think it's fascinating. I have put a poll up on my channel to decide whether you would like a separate annotating video for this book or whether you want it as part of my normal weekly vlog. So we're going to base it on what that says as to what I do. For now, I'm going to keep quiet pending the results, so I will wait for that, because I was thinking while I was reading it as an ebook, I was loving it, but I'm also really wanting to annotate it, and so I was like, there is no point me reading this as an ebook because I can't annotate this. I'm going to wait. I think I'm going to read this bit by bit and annotate as I go. It's definitely something I really want to do, so if it does end up being not part of an actual annotating video, you'll probably see this cropping up in different vlogs as I make my way through it. But that does leave me with no idea what I want to pick up as an ebook next. We have a dark romance possible, which I'm kind of leaning towards because I just want something a bit mindless that I don't have to focus too much on, which is weird that I then went for Bunny, but I think because it's a reread it's slightly different to me. I've got a couple of other things, but I haven't really decided. I have to admit I'm leaning towards the dark romance more. It's like a mafia romance that's been going around, so we'll see. I might do that, but I also want to pick up a manga this week that I've got on my TBR. So we've got lots of things that I want to read, but I think this video is going to be more of like lots of little things. However, I've said all of this before at the start of a video with all of my plans, and then they always tend to go a bit wrong. It's not often that I sit here at the end of the video going, I did exactly what I set out to do. It doesn't normally work that way at all, but we're at the start of it. We have now done the introduction, so the next thing you're going to see is a bit of B-roll of what I did before this update. We're going to go from there. But I hope you're doing really well. Let me know what you're up to, what you're reading. I will catch up with you shortly with hopefully an ebook that I've decided to pick up. Go from there. good reading updates, like really good. But before I get into that tangent, let me just talk about a few of the other things. So I've started reading the 4th short story, which is The Whisperer in Darkness, and I'm really enjoying this. I'm almost done with it. I was hoping to actually finish it up this morning. I ended up oversleeping, and you know what? Just got to do that sometimes. I was really tired after work, so I've only got a little bit left. I am going out to get my nails done. Oh, okay, so I've got about half an hour, just over half an hour, so that gives me time to have breakfast and then potentially finish this short story up. I really am enjoying this short story. Again, it's kind of connected to the first 3, so in the first 3 short stories, they're all kind of connected together with these greater beings. The first 2 being around the ocean, the third one being around one that is on Earth rather than being in submerged in water. This one is a bit more scientific explanation of what these greater beings are, the fact that they are alien, and how these cults have sprung up around them. So it's a bit more about that, which I am enjoying. It is the longest short story as a result of it, but I think it gives us a lot more context behind them. At the same time, for me, that kind of takes away some of the horror aspect of it, because it's still spooky, but because you're learning and understanding a bit more about them, it's a bit less so for me. Something that I really enjoyed in the first 3 was the fact that it was never really explained what these beings are, or how they got here, or what they want. So it was a lot more eerie and spooky as a result, because it was the fear of the unknown. With this one, because we're learning a lot more about them, it feels still spooky but not quite as horrific, because you don't know what they are. So it's an interesting one. Still got 20 pages left to go, as I said, so hopefully finishing that with breakfast. And then I've got the last one, which technically is a reread, but I would like to read it. It's a very short one. That's not going to take me long at all. I've actually been taking this to work to read on my lunch breaks, which has been really nice for the past couple of days. So I haven't picked up another ebook. Instead, I've been doing lots of like YouTube planning at work and then reading this. So it's been really fun, actually. So I'm really pleased with that. An update on the bunny idea. The poll on that seems to be really 50-50 split, but every so often the one that votes for just having this as part of a normal vlog creeps forward more. As it stands this week, I don't know if I'm going to get to any more of it anyway, and seeing as I did only start this with the first 2 chapters, I think I might wait, get my June TBR done, and then if at the end of the month I've got a bit of extra time, then I'll do it then, which will probably end up being this book alongside another book for a weekly vlog. So that's the plan, but I just wanted to give you that update as I did mention it in this video. And then we have the book that I started yesterday, and oh my god, is it good. It is so good, and that is Yellowface by Rebecca F. Kwan, and I am so surprised at how much I'm enjoying this. Like, I hoped that this would be the Rebecca Kwan book for me. Like, I really hoped. You've been given the story of the other 2 books and how I like the concepts, but there's always something. This one is the one for me. It is so good. So I read the first 4 chapters yesterday, so I only got to page 58. However, one thing that I then did after reading those first 4 chapters is go back through and annotate it, because I wasn't sure. Going into a book, if I'm not sure if I'm going to enjoy it, I will not annotate straight away, because I don't want to start annotating and then be like, actually this is going to end up being an unhaul anyway, because not everybody wants to see those sort of annotations when they pick up a book, even if it is secondhand, because I normally drop them off in like a free library. However, this was worth going back over those first 58 pages because it's fantastic. So what I'm going to do is my usual, talk you through the tabs, and then that will explain what's going on at the same time. The first tab that I'm using is orange. Now it's actually quite funny because I've decided to go with a lighter orangey yellow pen, so you can't really see my annotations from here, but I have literally written all along the side here an underlined thing. Orange is for jealousy. We are following June, and June is very jealous of her friend, sort of, Athena. Now they both finished school at the exact same time. They both did the same university writer's degree. However, they've had two very different approaches to becoming a writer. June herself has really struggled. Her debut novel was a flop, as she hasn't been doing that well. Her editor that she's got with her, she doesn't really get on with. She feels like they're not that supportive, and she just feels like she's a really, really good writer, but that things just aren't going her way. Then we have Athena, and Athena is doing really, really well. She came out of university, landed an amazing publishing, oh god, what's the word for it? Deal. Like with a big publishing house as well, and she's now like looking at a Netflix deal for one of her books. Like, she's really, really doing well. Instead of June being supportive of the fact that her friend is doing so well, as it should be, instead she is so insanely jealous. It is ridiculous. Like, it's what she constantly talks about, and you're in June's head, and so you're constantly seeing her trying to justify about how Athena isn't even that good a person, or Athena's only doing this well because she fits the motif, because she's pretty, or she's like diverse enough. And it was that bit that I was like, excuse me, what? That's so wrong. And so that brought in the second tab, which is green for racism, because there is a lot. June's very much like, I'm not a racist, but then she has all of these thoughts that I'm like, well, if you're not a racist, you wouldn't be having those sort of thoughts. Like saying that Athena's name is perfect because it's the right amount of exotic. What? You don't say that. You can say that somebody has a beautiful name, sure, but you don't turn around and go, that's exotic. Like, just the wording and the implication that's placed on that, dreadful, absolutely dreadful. And so that's what June has. You're inside June's head and you're seeing a lot of these really quite horrible thoughts about somebody that is apparently her friend. And it's just, yeah. So jealousy, racism, definitely there. That brings me on to another tab, which is how June constantly tries to delude herself with a very pale orange. So the main point of this book is that June takes Athena's manuscript and writes it as her own, publishes it as her own work, and she tries to justify this behaviour, and she tries to justify it not just with taking her work, but also with being jealous of Athena and with her thoughts on racism. So she's constantly trying to justify herself, but it really is very deluded, and at the end of the day, no matter how many times you try and tell the reader that you're not a thief, you are a thief. That is what you're doing. You are taking something that is not yours and publishing it yours and taking all the rewards that come with that, and all she's done is like, well, as long as she's noted in the acknowledgements, that's all that matters. And it's like, no, that's not all that matters. Like, that's wrong. This is not your work. It doesn't matter that you've embellished it, that you've changed things. It's the fact that this is wrong. And that's what June spends a lot of her time doing, is talking to us directly as a reader. It's almost like she's written this to us to then go, oh, but you can't think of it like this, like I'm not really this way. What's a quote that I had up here which I really enjoyed? I know what you're thinking. Thief, plagiarizer, and perhaps because all bad things must be racially motivated, racist. Hear me out. It's not so awful as it sounds. And that's how she's constantly talking to us. And you see what I mean by, she's like, oh, and because bad things must be racially motivated, racist. And it's like, but you're the one that keeps putting that on there, and you do have latent racial thought. Like, especially she makes a point about how Athena's mum speaks really good English. And it's like, what has that got to do with anything? Why are you even thinking that? But she really is, and she's like, oh, but her vocabulary is really rich, and I don't see what the big deal with her not being a non-native English speaker. Like, and it's just like, what are you going on about? Why is this a thing? And yet it is. It's a whole thought that she has when she meets Athena's mother is, oh, but her English is really good, and I didn't think that she was actually English. Wasn't the whole... And it was like, this is not something that is acceptable to be thinking. So yeah, lots of things like that. And then we have the last tab that I'm using at the moment, which is purple, and that's for calling out the publishing industry, the things that are going on. And as you can see, I have even post-it notes full of notes, because there's something that happens that I was just like, this is so wrong on so many levels, and I'm disgusted. And so I had to do all the thoughts. I had to write it out, and normally I would just write in the margins or something, but I'm like, there's not enough space to do this with. So the first time ever I've actually gone in with a post-it note and done it that way because there was just so many thoughts that I had, and it's about what they're doing to Athena's manuscript, the things that they're changing, the reasons why they're changing it to make it more acceptable for everyone, except it's not acceptable for everyone. They're making it acceptable for a particular group of people. As a result, it's so much more readable and so much more relatable because it doesn't show the horror and the atrocities of what's gone on. And it's like, you can't just change this because it makes someone feel uncomfortable. That's wrong. You know, it doesn't matter that we don't want to accept that that's part of what's happened. At the end of the day, it's what's happened. It's a true piece of history, and you're going, let's just whitewash this. No, that's not the way that works. Like, that's wrong. You know, Athena was trying to give these people a voice and you're silencing them. So there's lots of thoughts. However, I can understand why some people may not like this book because June is a really unlikable person. She's an unreliable narrator because this is all from her perspective. Yeah, she's a horrible person. But for me, this is really getting me to think. It's really making me enjoy everything that's going on. Like, I'm really enjoying this book. It's fantastic. And I am liking the fact that June is such a horrible character. I think it makes her really interesting and we can really delve deep into things. And also, Rebecca's focusing on things that actually do happen. People do have these thoughts and don't think there's anything wrong with it, and this sort of thing can happen in the publishing industry. So it's really good. I'm really enjoying it. I'm so pleased that we decided to buddy read this with my Discord. As I mentioned, it would have just sat on my shelves for ages because I was so apprehensive. I'm so pleased that they were like, let's all do this, and it gave me the support to do this because it's fantastic. So I've got 2 more chapters to read for this week, so I will be getting to those. Probably not over the next 2 days because I'm going out to get my nails done, then I'm seeing my partner, and then we're going out tomorrow. So maybe tomorrow evening, if not, it'll be towards the end of the week. So yeah, really enjoying that book, like so much more than I thought. It's kind of one of those ones that I would love to just binge read and get it all done. But at the same time, I'm really pleased with doing a chapter by week challenge because it means that I then don't rush read this and I can really sit with my thoughts on it. Is really good, as you have known, because I have been literally talking about this book for 10 minutes straight. I'm enjoying it that much. So that was the reading update. It's been a really good time, and yeah, as I said, I've got to go get my nails done. I'm gonna go do myself some breakfast, hopefully finish the short story while I'm eating, and then head off. So I will catch up with you. Oh, I've now got cat hair. I'll catch up with you soon. But yes, for anyone that wasn't sure on picking up Yellowface like I was, then please give this one a try. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm very much looking forward to the Discord chats and thoughts about what we think of this book so far. I think that's going to be really good. But right, I need to stop going on about that book. I've got to start my day, so let's go. Good afternoon. I am looking raggedy, I am sounding a bit rough. I'm just come back from work, hay fever is a problem right now. We're just gonna do this so I can go and chill. So I've had the last couple of days off, as we know, and I had a really relaxing couple of days off, I'm not gonna lie. Got my nails done, which I was very pleased with. So we went full colour for a change. So green with this pink, and this pink is actually sparkly a little bit with the little sad face because I was feeling attitudey. You know, why not express that? So yeah, so that was my last couple days. I also went to see the BBC Earth exhibit, which was really good. It's, if you've ever seen any of the BBC shows done by David Attenborough, it was like one of those, but kind of condensed. It was like little snippets of the different things that he's done put in that really immersive exhibit, and there were like beanbags that you could just lay back to and listen to it and watch all the beautiful cinematography. So it was a really relaxing time, and it was really nice to do just something a little bit different, and then went out for food and stuff. So yeah, it ended up being a really relaxing couple of days. But of course, we're here for the reading news, so let's get to that. I have finished the Lovecraft compendium, and I did like the last one, which was The Haunter in the Dark, is it? Yeah, The Haunter of the Dark. And as I said before, this was a reread, and this is all about an artist that gets obsessed with this dark cathedral that nobody goes near, is really kind of freaky and stuff. And what I loved about this book is that there are little hints towards the other short stories, which I did not pick up on the first time I read it because I hadn't read the other short story. And so it was really fun to see those little bits that shows actually this was literally talking about the previous short story that I just finished reading. So that's one thing that I've really enjoyed about this, is the connections to other books such as Edgar Allan Poe and Arthur Machen. They're really good authors and like have had quite a substantial part to play in the horror genre. So it was really quite nice to see those, as well as Lovecraft referencing his own short stories. So it was really handy to have it all in this little compendium, and I really liked it. It's now made me intrigued to read some of his bigger books and just give his work more of a try because I liked his short stories enough. So that's done. I'm really pleased with that. I haven't read any more of Yellowface. I've still got those last 2 chapters to do, and I either need to read it today or tomorrow. So I've really got to get on that because we're going to be talking about it on Sunday. So need to do that. I have also started another book, A House with the Good Bones. This is by T. Kingfisher, and this is the book that you all chose for the month. I haven't got massively far into it, although saying that, it's a short book, so I've read a third. I'm up to chapter 7, page 91, and this is actually the 4th day. So all of this is broken up into days. We're following our main character, and she is staying with her mother. She is, I didn't even know this was a job actually. This is quite interesting. I'm learning a lot from this book. But there is a archaeologist specifically for bugs, and that's what our main character is. Unfortunately, her trip, her dig, has got put on hold because they uncovered some human remains, so they've got to wait for all of that to be properly dealt with, and so she's moved into her mum's for a few months while she waits for all of that. However, where her mum lives is actually where her grandma used to live, and they all were there for a short period of her life. However, I'm saying that word a lot, I'm sorry, I tend to repeat words when I'm tired. It's gone creepy because when her grandma died and the mother took over the house, they moved back into the house and they repainted it in all these bright lovely colours, and now she's gone back there and it looks exactly how her grandma used to have the house, and it's really disorientating and she doesn't quite understand what's going on. Things start getting really weird, and can I just say, last night I was very tired when I was reading this and I read a scene that terrified me, absolutely terrified me, and it's to do with ladybugs. I don't like ladybugs. I really genuinely do not like ladybugs. Like, they genuinely scare me. I don't like them, and I get it. Some people really like them, some people think they're cute and stuff. No, they're scary. They're terrifying. They are monsters. And there was a scene of ladybugs everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. And I was just like, nope, no thank you very much. That is nightmare fuel right there. That was genuinely terrifying. So I kind of stopped. I managed to get to the end of the chapter of that and then put the book down. I was like, no, you are done. You are on hold. Like, let's put you in like a little icebox or something because you are in timeout, because we're not dealing with any more of that tonight. So I'm a little bit hesitant to go into more of this because I am not somebody that likes insects. Like, I really don't like insects. Like, don't get me wrong, natural world is absolutely fine. However, insects outside the house are not allowed inside the house. Like, that's just the way it is. This book is challenging that in a not good way. That was interesting. But before that, it's talking, like, it's laying the foundation of quite a lot of things. There was actually a quote that I really liked in here, and it's talking about
our main character's mum. I keep calling her our main character because I've genuinely forgotten her name. Sam. Her name is Sam. That took me a little while. But anyway, Sam's thinking about her mother and how her mum's changed. There's just been a lot of things going on, and she's like, you've lost a lot of weight, you seem really anxious, a lot of things going on. And so she's thinking about it, but she says, Mum is tough. It's easy to think that sweet people are weak, but if you look at all the stuff Mum's lived through, she's nearly indestructible. And I really liked that sentence because it genuinely got me thinking about my mum. Like, she's been through so much and she's always there. She's someone that I know I can rely on 100%. As I'm really enjoying seeing that mother-daughter bond in this book. It's really nice. And even though, like, they have grown apart, it's nice. And our main character is 32, so quite close in age to me. So, I don't know, I'm really liking it. Except for the creepy insect part, because no thank you. I know this is a horror book, but I don't need nightmares. Thank you very much. So that's where I'm up to. So I'd like to read more of this tonight, and I also need to read the chapters for Yellowface. So those are the two things that I want to try and get done today. However, I do also need to start editing this vlog. I feel like death. So we're going to see how much I actually managed to get done. That's the update done. I may try and edit, even if I just start putting this vlog together, so like half an hour to an hour, then I can just chill out. Maybe have chocolate oat milk. That's my new, like, favourite obsession. And read. That is literally all I plan on doing. Well, let's stop talking about it and actually go and do those things. Probably next time you see me, I'll start wrapping up this vlog. But yeah, that's where we're at. Nightmare fuel in a book. Why? rather warm Sunday afternoon here in the UK, and I've closed my window because everyone's out having barbecues and enjoying the sun. So we're going to try and get through this as quick as possible without me overheating. It's been a hot few days, especially, you know what, working outside in it I love, but the uniform I wear is horrible because it just traps the heat. But right, okay, anyway, let's get on to the book that I finished, and that is A House with Good Bones. Okay, so the last update was me saying about this whole ladybug situation. Yeah, the ladybug situation, it happens again, and yeah, god damn. The insect horror in this was really, really up there. I can honestly say that this book was a good time. Like, it was a fun, enjoyable read. I've already mentioned about the relationship between the daughter and mother that I really liked seeing. There is good humour in this. The writing is very humorous. It's got this really like kind of dry wit, which I really like. We also have a witch in this, which I enjoyed. I would say out of the two T. Kingfisher books that I've read, I personally preferred Nettle and Bone, but this was still a very good read. The ending did get a bit crazy. It was honestly like a, wait, what? Every couple of chapters, but it was really, really fun. It's fast paced, it's engaging, it's really easy to read. But yeah, insects, bugs, that's a big thing in this. So that was terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. I mean, if you're not bothered about bugs, then this is not scary. But if you're like me, yeah, this creeped me out. This creeped me out so much. But at the end of the day, this is more of like a horror, but I don't know, is it like fantasy horror or just horror? Like, I don't know. I don't read a lot of horror outside of like classics. I would say to me this is horror, and this is definitely what I had it in for the pick of June as horror. So for me this is definitely horror, but if you're not bothered about insects and stuff, I would say it's kind of up there. Actually, yeah, like with Brady Hendrix, when I was reading there's a book that looks like an IKEA catalogue that's about this warehouse that's basically IKEA that's not called IKEA and it's haunted. It's a bit like that. It gives me that same level of horror vibes from it, but this is instead a small town suburban house, and there's bugs involved. So Yeah, really good though. I did enjoy this. I think it did exactly what it was meant to do. Like, if a horror book is meant to scare you, like, that's the point of them, right? This was a good, entertaining time, and it was so quick and easy to read. Like, I flew through this book. It was great. So that is that one done. Which does bring us to what we've read this week, which has honestly not been loads this week. Because I haven't read any ebooks this week, which has been a very needed break for me, I actually haven't read loads. But I don't mind that at the same time. So I didn't get to the manga like I'd hoped. Like, I honestly thought that this week I would be finishing off the Lovecraft Compendium, which I did do. So I'm very happy with that. And this is like a sci-fi horror I enjoyed. So we read the last 2 short stories of that. Good fun. Glad that's done. Then I honestly thought I would read the manga, which we never got to. And the horror pick, which is House of Good Bones. So I did get to that. So I'm very pleased with that. So I didn't get to the manga. But I did start the 6 chapters for Yellowface, which I very much enjoyed, and I have read the last 2 chapters that I needed to read. Can't remember if I told you that or not, whether it was it after I did that update? It might have been after I did that update. This was very good. Definitely had the last couple of chapters that I read, obviously just 5 and 6, was very much looking at the publishing industry and certain things that June is now doing to get this book published, because it's focusing on a heritage whose culture that she does not share. I kind of want to keep it vague. I mean, you might have already heard this from reviews and that, but I haven't, so I want to keep it vague. Because it's from a culture that she does not share heritage with, they are then trying to publish this book under a different name now, rather than what she published under her debut as, so that she can have a fresh start, except the way they're doing all the marketing leaves it very ambiguous for the reader as to June's heritage, and they really play up certain things about her history to make it seem this way, so that those maybe less informed people, if you're not going to do loads of research into the author, would not know that this person doesn't have the heritage that she's writing about. Obviously, that raises all sorts of red flags. Like, that's just atrocious. And so it was really interesting to see that. Now, I cannot say whether that's accurate or not for the publishing industry, but I do know when Rebecca's been giving talks about her book, this was a book for her where she was taking lots of incidents that she didn't like from the publishing industry and throwing it all together. I don't know whether some of this is exaggerated or whether something like that does happen in the publishing industry. I could not tell you. Sorry, the lighting went really weird there. It does look like it's about to thunderstorm, and I don't know about you, but I love a good summer thunderstorm, so I'm very excited for that. Really hoping I get some good reading time with some thunder going on. Anyway, not the point. So yeah, so I can't tell you about the authenticity of whether that actually happens with publishing houses, but it was so shocking to read, but also not that surprising, and it goes into why they're justifying this and how they're trying to justify it. Not that that behaviour can be justified, but obviously you're reading this from June's perspective, and it is hard and frustrating because she's a horrible character, but she's meant to be. The justifications that she's given and the justifications of the publishing houses for why they're doing these things, it's just so wrong. So yeah, there's a lot of things that I have really been enjoying annotating and just thinking about. I'm going to be discussing it later with my Discord channel, and so we're going to be chatting about it, but I've had so many little notes where I've been sticking in post-it notes of things where I'm just like, I really need to express this. Like, it challenges so many things. So yeah, that particular last couple of chapters actually was very like, eesh, it's one of those things where I would hope it didn't happen, but I'm also not that naive to think that it wouldn't happen. Yes, very much looking forward to reading more of this, which I will be doing next week. So overall, did I get what I wanted, the amount that I wanted read done? No. But am I very pleased with this week's reading? Yes, I am. I'm very happy with the amount that I've read this week, even if it didn't involve everything I wanted to read. Like, this is still a good amount, and I've enjoyed all the books. So this has been very good. So there we are. That's it for this week. Let me know how you've been, which I'm always saying at the start of this video, but we're saying it at the end as well now. Thank you for watching it. If you've made it this far, that's the bit that I'm trying to say. If you've made it this far, then I think, you know what, there was bugs. So you can creep me out more in the comments below and put some bug emojis, because it was a whole time. And when I tell you that there was a couple of nightmares, let's not talk about that, okay? I'm a wuss, bugs are my thing, no. So yeah, so bugs in the emoji, I will catch you next time. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. If you've enjoyed it, please do give it that thumbs up, subscribe and comment. Those 3 things really help this channel grow, so thank you so much. Social media links and anyone I've mentioned will be linked below, and I will of course catch you in the very next video.